Transform seminar series, which is a heartfelt tribute by CIMMYT and everybody that knew Paula, who was a visionary scientist in gender and development, and whose extraordinary life and work continues to illuminate the path towards gender equality in agriculture. Myself, as someone that knew Paula very personally, I'm extremely honored, to play a small role in continuing her legacy and enduring vision. So this hub was launched in 2024, and it serves as a vibrant platform uniting researchers, policymakers, and practitioners. And as a cornerstone of this hub, this seminar series was established by CIMMYT and organized by the Office of the Jesse Group, CIMMYT, to build directly on her foundational work by hosting dynamic discussions through webinars that spotlight cutting-edge research on gender dynamics in agriculture. So this space is to bring all of us together to learn about gender equity, youth and social inclusion in our ongoing research, to receive critical feedback and explore different approaches in incorporating Jesse in our work. The research presentations at all stages of development are welcome, with preference to those in the early stages, early career stages to encourage with research actually that is in its early stages, but we also encourage early career researchers to encourage discussion and feedback on the work that is in progress. So ultimately, this effort creates an essential space for new and inspiring innovative actions and mentorship, and driving transformative change towards gender just agricultural futures in honor of Paula's inspiring legacy. I will now hand it over to Margot Bolaños and Chloe Gosselin, who are going to be the moderators of this seminar going forward, to just let us know how we will flow with it. And I will introduce Nozomi just before her presentation.
Hello, good morning, everyone, or evening. I really appreciate everyone coming in today. My name is Margot Bolaños Games. I am a research associate of the Jesse Group at CIMMYT. I will be moderating this seminar as well as other seminar series coming up in the year. Chloe Goslin, I'll give you your space to also introduce yourself. Will be the other co-moderator.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm really excited to have everyone here and to be able to learn from Nozomi. My name is Chloe Goslin. I am also a research associate with the Jesse Group, working with both Maureen and Margot. And yeah, Margot and I will be moderating this seminar going forth, and we're both very excited about this going forward. So yeah, I will hand it back to Margot or Maureen to introduce our speaker today.
Great. Thank you so much, Margot and Chloe. Nozomi, thank you so much for making it again, this time virtually. You are here physically for the launch of this center. And so Nozomi is a social anthropologist at the International Potato Center based in Hanoi, Vietnam. She leads an interdisciplinary research teams actually, to examine farmer perceptions and constraints related to climate adaptation, plant health management, and conservation agriculture. She holds a PhD from the University of East Anglia, and in 2024, she received the Barbara Wells Award in recognition of her leadership in advancing gender-responsive approaches in innovation. Welcome, Nozomi.
Thank you, Maureen. So let me share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So hi, everyone. Today, before starting my presentation, I have a message to fellow colleagues in memory of Paula Kantor. I worked together with Paula Kantor around 12 years ago, and I have a publication with her, as you see now. At that time, gender was a marginalized topic within CGIAR, and we worked closely to explore how gender could be integrated into the research frameworks of biophysical sciences. Paula was a pioneer as a feminist researcher in agriculture, and she was a role model for me. She had deep empathy and passion about the situation of women in Afghanistan. Paula will not be coming back, but I'm very pleased that in this way, CIMMYT has been committed to gender under the leadership of Maureen Milka. I believe that if we all take gender seriously, the world of agriculture can change. And Paula gave us this opportunity here to have a community of practice. So let's work together. How can I move? Okay. So today's topic is applying a gender lens in zero-tillage potato cultivation in the Ganges Delta of Bangladesh and India. I designed this presentation for the biophysical scientists to integrate gender into their project cycle as an example. So not going for deep for social science, more practical thinking I'm going to present. So zero-tillage potato cultivation under rice straw mulch looks like that, like this. So after harvesting rice, immediately you place potatoes like this as a seed. Then cover with rice straws with organic fertilizer and chemical fertilizer a little bit. So as I see on the top, right top, conventional tillage CT, you grow potato in the soil, but zero tillage, you grow potato in the inside of the rice straw. Rice straw you will put 20 centimeter layer. So if you have the rice straw from the manually cut, then you need twice or 3 times of unit of paddy field for filling 1 unit of potato. But in the case of the combined harvester straw, you need 5 to 6 times of rice straw. I really like this zero tillage practice because harvesting potato is very easy. You take off this rice straw and the seed potato is really beautiful because it doesn't touch into the soil, so it's remain clean. And our colleagues and also other scientists in the world is doing all experiment and publishing the data of benefit of zero tillage potato straw mulch, rice straw mulch in the experiment field. So ecological, agroecological aspect, there are proven evidence that increase productivity, less water, fertilizer or reduced labor compared to manual conventional tillage. Also, there are some benefit for soil quality and less pest and diseases. But I would highlight here possible to grow potato in salinity affected regions where they usually cannot grow crops, many crops. So that is the topic of today's regions that I'm going to introduce is the Ganges Delta region. Looks like this. And whenever I go there, in either West Bengal, India, or Kurna, Bangladesh, we see this river and we take a boat. So for over Bangladesh and Indian side, they share the same language and culture. So we work for the both side. For Bangladesh side, we had a project, and in that project, over 1,000 households joined actual practice of zero tillage in their field, and 3,000 women received benefit of zero tillage information, not really doing, but received information. For India side, still ongoing, and over 1,500 households joined practical trial. This year, more than 700 farmers first time trying zero tillage, and next month we are going to harvest. So in this region, usually after growing rice, they keep it fallow, nothing to do, because salinity limit crop production, and also many men go to migrate to earn incomes. So we are proposing this fallow land utilize fallow land to grow potato. However, fixed calendar is very short, 75 days instead of 90 days of usual potato practice, but still possible. So up to here was a little bit of the technological introduction of zero tillage. But now our topic is gender and how we connect gender and zero tillage, gender lens. So before going further, I would like to tell you that the world without gender lens look like this. So in this, we cannot see farmers very clearly. So we call them as farmers. No difference among farmers, or you don't care about differences. But in the world with a gender lens, I mean that you can clearly see difference of individuals, men and women, or social relationships, power dynamics within the groups, within community, within household. That is applying a gender lens means. And research question of the biophysical zero tillage research questions. There are many about productivity or emission. But research question with the gender lens goes with these people. So what are perceived benefit and constraint for women and men in adapting zero tillage practice? How does shift from conventional to zero tillage influence gender division of labor? What are reasons for non-adaptation? Are there any reason related to gender? What are the entry points for empowering women in the zero tillage project? And to what extent do women influence decisions on adoption or non-adoption? Those questions help us to identify where specific support are required for specific social groups. Okay. So we had some research, participatory research, qualitative research, as well as baseline survey only for the Bangladesh side for the broader group of Asian Megadelta team. And some of the follow-up survey every time we do in the short question of 5 questions, if you adapt or not adapt. But if you look at this context, women are very, very active when they are separated from men. So if we talk like only women, a safe space, they have many opinions and really eager to learn new things and do agriculture on their own. And this photo of the right top, this is a low-caste, very poor, resource-limited community. And after the meeting, these women, 4 women are waiting for me. And after that, they said that during the dry season, men migrate and they remain here. But if they cannot be successful in agriculture, they also have to migrate and they really want to avoid it. So any possible work, including potato, they are keen to learn that they just wanted to explain to me. And this woman next to me in the second photo, she's very innovative woman. And she said she has been doing zero tillage potato for 5 years alone because she can handle everything because there is no tillage. Land preparation, that is mostly men's work, but this one don't need land preparation. Also harvesting is easier. So she was saying that, Nozomi, if you can introduce to women will be very happy. So this is a bit of context I will talk about. But before that, I did a literature review about zero tillage. And here is a CIMMYT. And there are several literature talking about gender and zero tillage maize or zero tillage wheat in South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. And we have only limited number of paper on zero tillage potato and gender is limited. So let's start about what gender and zero tillage wheat and maize literature says. There are mixed evidence. A critic says that men benefit more from labor saving, increased labor force to women, mainly for weeding. And that was the reason for non-adoption that several papers saying both in Africa and South Asia. Another says women are less involved in decision making and consultation process. So then they start, but then later realize that women are not really involved and consulted. But anyway, women's labor increase. The tillage is adopted by wealthier or more educated or those who own large farms, which is opposite for potato zero tillage. Zero tillage potato is more adopted by small holder farmers. But positive outcomes also says that with increased incomes, women bought gas stove, irrigation pump, and build a toilet, amongst other things. Also, some part increase, for example, weeding. But overall, women's and men's both labor time was reduced, and women spent more on child care and livestock. And labor saving is the top criteria for adoption of conservation agriculture technology for both men and women. So one gender, if you have a disadvantage anyway, adoption will be limited. That was the paper saying. So this is very useful. We haven't done really systematic research on labor, whose labor increase or decrease, but this was a maize and wheat case. For potato, zero tillage, we don't have such literature, but there was a case for Vietnam. It was a minimum tillage potato with rice straw. So 2 rice crop season, then potato zero tillage. It was implemented a long time ago in 22 provinces, and there are many success stories still online. That time, majority of beneficiaries were women, just like I explained in our study site in South Asia, that men migrate to other work. So women are remaining in dry season. So that the majority of things are done by women, and women bought TV, paid school fees for their children or grandchildren. Many success stories that time. Women also undertook some of the adaptation strategies in response to changing conditions. For example, this water the drainage was a problem, so they changed over. Pest and disease issues happens from rice straws, so they change varieties. Those things are done by women. However, also women are major decision makers for this continuation of this practice, mostly already stopped. So it was very important to engage with women and listen from women for this practice in Vietnam. Okay. So Ganges Delta's gender norms and relationship, we had a baseline. I was also involved for the question for gender. This baseline is important to set up our target and goals for the project, identify the gaps. So for example, we asked women how confident you are in farming activities, and red circled area is therefore related to crop management, and you can see that they don't have much confidence in this crop management. Green and purple is not confident. There are many people. So our project aims at increasing women's confidence in crop management by training them. That is one part, for example. Another thing we ask, what extent do you agree with the statement on women's economic roles? There are some questions to test their perceptions. For example, women are better leaders than women. Many of women respondents agree on that. So in that sense, I really wanted women to increase their confidence in leadership roles. So that they can feel more, confidence in taking as good as men are. There are many other things, women are just capable as men. That one, women think that they are capable as men to earn incomes, contributing to household incomes, which is good. However, if you look at the result from male respondents, women are just capable as men in contributing to household income. Agree, very small. Disagree, and strongly disagree is many. So in this project, I really wanted to try to aim at changing men's perception about women's capacity to earn income, to develop some business model. This was only I tried in India, not Bangladesh. So, and percentage of women who are involved in farming activities from the baseline, this is like related to crop productions. So if you look at that, women are largely also involved in farming activities, including water management, land preparation, and pest and disease management. So this means that zero-tillage potato, if we introduce it, is also relevant to women. And we also have a data from our side of Bangladesh and Sundarban saying that women are involved in many of zero-tillage potato productions, except decisions on investment and management. So literature says that women's involvement in decision-making can help household decisions toward sustainable agriculture. So it's important that women are involved in decisions. In order to that, we have to train them and inform them about these technologies. So this also shows that zero-tillage is both relevant for women. So labor saving in irrigation, for example, or planting, harvesting, that also helps women to reduce laborers. So our project based on that, as I said, we target to increase women's confidence in crop management, also increase women's confidence in leadership roles, changing women's assumption that women's capacity to earn incomes are low, no, and also increasing women's involvement in decision making on adoption, non-adoption, and adaptation decisions. So how can we achieve those targets? So in order to do that, we need to include gender in everywhere for project activities, from context-specific strategy development, farmer training, farmer field trials, target 40% women-managed farms, feedback from women and men, and validation meeting, and co-design innovations. So in this way, we can have some of the part to support women's empowerment. But I will explain one by one. So as an example, I think you can, you know how we could do. So for example, we have a context-specific strategy identification of the suitable locations frameworks. So this assessment framework has a component of the type of agriculture machines, rice harvester, potato planters they use, or agronomic practice, crop rotations, rotation timings, soil conditions, because zero-tillage is not applicable to everywhere. So we need some particular conditions to identify suitable areas, pest and disease, and if not suitable, we need to suggest some strategies. I included it also gender and social diversities issues looks like this. So we have some conditions related to gender, male dominance in decisions or labor shortage or some economic constraints. So suitability analysis, reason why this condition matters, and tailored strategy we propose. So in this way, rather than having gender strategies put aside, it's better to integrate into the agronomic strategies. So otherwise, nobody will lead or nobody take care of the gender considerations. So this is one component we did. Also, we have women-to-women training mechanisms and also trained female trainers. In Bangladesh, female trainers are informing to women farmers about training to women because through using other mechanism of the community of practice. In India, we separated women for training in some specific cases, others are mixed. But this woman is called Aparuna. She is really good speaker and taking care of others. So we invite her to go to the new villages as an ambassador for zero-tillage. We take her in our cars, together to go to villages. So that it really empower and change norms, because first entry point is usually men, and men listen from her experience. That is really good empowerment opportunity for women. Also, women's voices in mechanization process invited. So it's mechanized zero tillage machine is now still under discussion. And during this look at these photos, this is like a stakeholder meeting, co-designing, discuss about what kind of machine can be developed. So many these guys are from private mechanization company, School of Engineering, CG colleagues, but I invited 4 female farmer representatives, and they speak. And from the beginning, including women, recognizing women is so important for this community of people, so that when machine is developed, women can feel ownership themselves. Okay, so women-led business model is collective purchase of seed and collective arrangement of cold storage and collective sale of potatoes by female-led farmer producer company in West Bengal, India. In this way, women can handle this some of the business charge margin of this by doing this business themselves to mobilizing community participants. This is very important. Otherwise, women can remain as a laborer in zero tillage production, supporting husband. So in order to change that, like something women can lead to make it leading to business. But this is just started this year. So also unique practice we do is women farmers are trained as enumerators to go back to their own village and to ask 5 questions to fellow farmers, and using by their own mobile phone to input data. I think that partners and NGO partners say that this is really transformative because women are using a mobile phone to input data, collect data, visiting the field. That is very different in this South Asia's conservative, restricted gender norms. And this worked very well in Bangladesh, 3,000 farmers data collected by those women. Okay, so here, this is the last section. We are not measuring yet about those empowerment because we just started, and it takes long time to see the outcomes. But I'm going to introduce women's and men's perception on zero tillage potato in both countries. In India's part of Sundarban, West Bengal, anyway, both men and women are very happy with zero tillage. It can plant earlier, 2 weeks earlier, labor and time saving for both men and women, water also saving. They prefer short duration variety, prefer narrow planting distance, so cut seed into pieces. So some of the practice they are adapting, not the protocol we introduced already. I think that we welcome those things, and prefer a particular variety for home consumption, separate for selling. However, we got the feedback that landless people cannot have rice straws, so we are now arranging for that in advance, so that they can also have rice straws, and then they can rent land. Rodent issue is infestation is only the disadvantage of this practice, and many farmers talk about it. So for women-specific comment is that zero tillage is convenient for women in male absent, male migrating household, as women can handle most of the work on their own. And this is this message I had last week. I was very happy that this is the first time I made a decision and managed crop production by myself. Always husband decide, and they follow. And they are very much passive position. But in this case, that woman, she was the person who get training and purchased seed from this women producer company and also handling and have very proud of that. And also, they say my husband learned about zero tillage from me. So they have some, access to information fast, a point that also gains a position for women. However, for the Bangladesh focus group discussion, we found in the stress why they didn't adapt from the survey, not adapting zero tillage. And there are specific reasons for women because they can tick others and write comment. Then I think seven women said that I have a heavily workload related to child care and livestock feeding, so no time to do additional work. In that case, that men are migrating, for example, they cannot do that. Or my husband does not allow me to go to the field alone. This is because they have a house in the livestock, and or children or somebody can come in the house. That is a concern. Not women walking outside alone. That is not problem, but going alone, being away from home. And I was sick during the planting period. I think 5 or 6 people mentioned about it and missed the opportunity, or my family member was sick and I had to take care of somebody, sick person. Those are not many compared to the majority of women who are happy, but there are still this kind of cases we observe. This also shows diversity among women. So how we can support this kind of women, and they are the most needed people, very poor household, and women still need some support. So we have to consider those cases, not only success cases, but critical cases of this we will discuss. But before moving, this is the last slide. Since I taking opportunity to communicate with CIMMYT colleagues, I have some suggestion for cross-crop collaboration. For example, we would see effect of double zero tillage, wheat potato, or maize potato. Wheat potato might be a bit more common in northern India. And mechanization for double zero tillage machines, or understanding gender roles and labor dynamics in a full crop calendar. Agroecological benefit of full system is also important, but for gender and labor relations in the full crop calendar, because if we are only looking at potato, it also limit us understanding of the society. Also, like as I earlier explained, women's leadership training or gender responsive approach, we could do together because we are in the same region or same state. And current budget cut, I would say is that socioeconomic studies or baseline surveys are very expensive, and we could collaborate those areas as well. So this is the last slide. I have acknowledgement to that Bangladesh work was implemented by our excellent colleagues, Sohak, Monua, and Fahana. And for India, we collaborate with CSSRI, UI, and News, NGO News. Thank you so much. I have a reference for sharing later if needed. Okay, so I will stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nozomi. This is
Yes.
very
I cannot hear you,
Oh.
Margot.
am I back? Oh, sorry. I'll repeat myself. I was saying thank you so much, Nozomi, for your presentation. I really truly enjoyed it, and it's very informative in so many ways. I would like to now open the room for any questions, whether in the chat or you can also raise your hands. At the moment, I'll read out one that I saw on the chat that was also answered, but wanted to give you space to add any more to that question. Wilmer Perez asked if you can comment about incidence or severity of foliage and soil diseases in zero tillage plots.
Yeah, this is my colleague. Sorry, our colleagues are communicating with each other. But yeah, pest and disease less. It seems less. Only as I said, rodents is a problem because that time not many crops are grown in dry season. So rat are looking for the food. And then zero tillage, rice straw, there are many space for rat to hide and no need to dig soil. So it's easier than conventional practice. So if farmers also do testing by themselves, making conventional and zero tillage in the next to each other to see themselves. Actually, productivity is same, but this rodents incidents are more serious. In the case of the rice, there is one particular rice disease that can transmit to potato, but that is not happening in India. Yeah.
I see. Thank you so much. I see Hen from Sylvanus.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Nozomi. Thank you
Hi.
very much. Thank you very much for your inspiring
Hi,
talk.
Sylvanus.
Yes, and for always being open to dialogue and exchange, and your always consistent effort to bridge work across that discipline. And I really appreciate collaborating with you, and I hope that we'll have the opportunity to still continue collaborating in the future. Maybe a question on something that you presented and that popped up my attention, because we did also some research in southern Mexico here on women access and to mechanization and also burden related to labor. And I saw that one of the things that you mentioned was the fact that one of the main factor limiting adoption of zero tillage is the fact that women have to take care of children. And it is something that we also notice here. And I was just wondering that I'm just seeing, and that childcare is also a binding constraint for women in the rural world, which is also normal because I mean, for any kind of, I mean, for every woman, I would say. And like this is outside our traditional agricultural investment. So do you see, from your perspective, how can CGIR center like SIP or CIMMYT can approach this kind of challenge that rural women are facing? Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Sylvanus. Great question. I think that is beyond our, expertise, but we can always collaborate with NGOs who are actually doing, like Maureen can speak probably, like Care International in Vietnam, for example. They are really, really doing, training men for child care, for example. Or, gender awareness, like 24 hours time how your wife and yourself is spending, then they realize, and actually those things is quite effective to change cultures. Ne? So we will not do, but somebody partnership would help. Another thing is mechanization probably. Ne? So because women are doing the most time-consuming work, like weeding or field observations, or water fetching even. So those things should be mechanized because I did a long time ago research on mechanization in Vietnam that all mechanized part is related to men's labor. So first mechanization happens in the not weeding machine, but starting from the land preparation, for example, that reducing men's labor. So mechanizing women's part, including even cooking, or gas stove, for example. Those things really change many things, productive activities. Even I was thinking, even this zero tillage, mechanized zero tillage, then actually currently women are doing all work by themselves. But if mechanized, women can be a manager, hiring, machines by themselves, organizing, then it's one step positions. So I still believe that we can do many things. But most important thing, Sylvanus, for us is to recognize women's burden, not only agriculture, but also child care, so that we should not invite all the time women without considering those things, and asking, attending training. Men don't attend if they don't paid, but women comes. So then you are increasing labor of burden of women than men. So very important to understand women's roles, as you say. Also, some of the roles are really associated with natural resources, fetching water or collecting food or feed from the mountains. That role is really useful because they know all agroecological systems and knowledge associated those natural resources, and that is very useful knowledge for us. And also, that women have more passion about conservation, agriculture also related.
Maybe thank you very much. Maybe an additional
Yes.
comment, something that I would like to mention. Thanks again for your great contribution. I just want to say that something that we have noticed here is that when we couple our training with childcare, we have a much better participation of women. That was something that was led by Jessica, Jessica that you met here. And
Yes.
then systematically in any training that we are organizing, we also put having childcare for women so that they can be able to participate. So it's something that we have changed the last couple of months, and it's worked very well. Thank you again, and looking forward to continue exchanging with you. Thank you.
That's very nice comment to hear that if you provide child care, women can attend. Also food, lunch or something, because they have to go back for cooking for family. So I always think that we have to do something, something like invite also family to come for lunch or something.
Thank you so much, Sylvanius, for that question. Any more questions on the chat or from people on Zoom? If not, I do have a question relevant to
Yes.
the conversation. I was wondering how you mentioned at some point that there was a part of having a focus on changing men's perception on women's capacity to earn income. I was wondering how exactly did that take place? I think you mentioned it in one of your Venn diagrams of how that was programmed to as in activities, but I was wondering if you could share more in depth how did that look and how were the results for that aspect?
Yeah, it was baseline questions to ask men, and it's very interesting, no? I can also share, if you are working on gender, you must be interested to see questions and also the perceptions of men. So it's more, I believe it's more qualitative aspect. Right? Than the, yes or no, probably, but of course, measurable result is important. So perhaps we are planning with this impact assessment team after some time, like 5 or 10 years later on, we can go back to the same families and to see changes. Also, 10 years is too long because women's position also is related to, if you have young children or not. If we then become senior, they will change. But anyway, those things we will evaluate later. But I also want to document those stories, how this, like my friend Aparuna, this woman, she's very much reading how her husband perceive about her. Because if those good role models can change entire cultures, eventually, that is also very helpful. But I'm an anthropologist and I'm not really do myself for quantitative research. But this time I was involved in this baseline and I found it very interesting and useful. So it's very important to have this time for the baseline design. I really insisted to ask women questions because usually household survey only one respondent in household. But specific questions for women, because in South Asia, usually men are household head. So all the questions are answered by men, but we had specific questions for women. So I recommend you to have some of those things. It's very difficult to see the changes in short time, but I believe we can do something.
Yeah, there is power in having both the qualitative and the quantitative of these kind of projects, especially a great point that you bring in, not just the women's perspective, but also men's perspective. Having both can be very informative. Thank you so much. I believe Chloe has a question.
It was less of a question. You sort of answered or preluded my question of, do you think going forward as we begin to integrate the social science elements and sort of Jesse and really try and integrate gender into all the biophysical work that is done, that really mixed methods approaches are going to be sort of almost the baseline package in order to be able to fully understand these things and have the biophysical speak to the social and the social speak to the biophysical. Yeah, it was just Margot preluded that, but yeah.
That's very important, Chloe, that point that I'm very passionate about it that now, because if we do gender, people doing gender research, things will never change. So we have to really both sides, in order to do that, both sides we have to respect other subject topics and expertise. But we can also contribute because I think many people, agronomists who are in the field, also interact closely with farmers. So they must know better than me about farmers' practice. So this, makes a very good collaboration in the different knowledge combining. Yeah.
I believe we have Maxwell raising his hand.
Hi, Nozomi.
Yes.
Thanks for the nice presentation. So I was happy and very excited when I saw that in one of the activities you involved farmers as enumerators, or women farmers as enumerators. So here we tried, but with the students, female students in Bihar and UP in India. So that worked very well. The data quality was very high than what most people, the preconceived ideas they had of how female students would do. But in terms of my question is, have you tried on the other steps of the research that, for example, communicating back to communities the results of the work, or even them learning how to analyze and communicate it back? Because I think that can change the way we view farmers. They can really be part of the research and be researchers. Thank you.
Thank you, Maxwell. Good questions. I think female student is also a good idea for us. It's extremely remote area, this Ganges Delta region, and very difficult to reach even. So rather than bringing outside student, we hired the local community women themselves. First time when I suggested it, our colleague says it's not possible. That's too complicated. But then I said try, because only 5 questions. And this automatically you took tick, automatically screen change, so it's not difficult. And eventually it was very good. So for the regarding sharing output analysis, we do ourselves, because farmers is not related for this analysis. But after that result, both Bangladesh and India, we shared the result with farmers in the community by putting in the A0 paper with the very simple figures with illustration, no letters, no alphabet. figures, and then verbally explained, including adoption, how many people in the community adopted zero tillage, what are the reasons not adopting, and also from the neighboring communities, because they only see their own community, but we did survey in many different. So farmers are very keen on, our sharing of result, interested. Farmers are very interested, both men and women. Also, I shared result of gender roles and decision making. But for decision making, for example, women involved are only 20% or less. For me, it was very little. But then reaction was so many. Farmers are very happy with that result. Wow, even 20%. So this reaction also helps me to know the context. And men were saying that because this was a tradition, but then some communication about it, that I said that I want women to involve, and men said that they are okay to ask their wife's opinion or something. So this validation is very important, especially for the reason for not adapting. That reason we share what reasons and why. Then in that way we can go for the qualitative. So first entry point is farmer enumerator, but then validation when we do it's much more deeper understandings. I really recommend, since we don't have any more money budget, so I think this approach would be really helpful and very fast, because you don't need to them travel there, because they are living there. So, and also helping support from local staff in the field, easy for us.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Thanks.
Right, thank you so
Bihar,
much.
absolutely, it's easy, because West Bengal, coastal West Bengal is one of the most difficult area. Really, farmers are poor, and even finding people who have female, who have mobile phone, it's also not easy. But if Bihar, everybody have smartphones, so it's much more easier probably. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that question. We have a few more minutes left. Is there any more questions from the audience or in the chat?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, sorry, I can't raise my hand.
No
Hello,
worries.
Nozomi, this is Michael. How are you doing?
Hi, Michael.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to
see you.
Mm.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I just have a short question. You said that one advantage or why women like this type of activity is because men, husbands, they migrate, and then the labor is short, but they can still cope, let's say, with the work because it reduces the labor burden. Did you also involve the husbands or the man of the household head when you promote this type of activity? Because I would assume, like, given the context in which you work, even though men are not around, they may still influence like what is happening on the farm, on the field. Women may still feel like they need to seek approval or something from their husband. Maybe you could quickly comment on that one.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. That is important question. So that was the case for my Bangladesh of coastal region, that even if men migrate, that they need to seek approval from husband, and in that way they couldn't. In the case of Indian side of the coast, women are quite have freedom. But actually, Michael, there are some men around. In particular reason, they cannot go to migrate because of they have health problem, or some farmers have a land to do agriculture. That's why they don't need to migrate. So those cases also men are involved. And or alternatively, those migrant men are not all the time absent. Sometimes come back. because of fishery is their migration point. So sometimes come back. So some of the work, especially labor-intensive work, they are taking. There is no difference between men and women in adoption or non-adoption. I checked, male managed plot and female managed plot. Not big difference, but I feel like sometimes men are more considering about selling, from selling point that they say if productivity is the same, they still prefer conventional approach because they have many experience on that. And they know conventional practice is safer, no risk, because they already know it. But for zero tillage, they have only two crop seasons they tried, and even we have scientific evidence, even from the communities. Result shows productivity is same, but still they feel insecure to do. So once they have to invest in seed, they prefer to go back to conventional because they don't feel burden to do land preparation, tilling soil themselves or harvesting. They see that they don't feel much benefit, but for women, they feel a lot saving because if women not get used to do this land preparation by themselves, so but putting rice straw is not burden for women. So that are a bit of difference. However, as you said, those influential men, that's why I think it's important to involve men as well. We do training for men as well, and validation or both involved. Why? Because men are actually decision maker at the moment. So if we cannot convince men, this will not be successful. And that some of the large scale potato producers are also dominated by male managed farms. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Nozomi. Thanks.
All right, thank you everyone for your questions. Nozomi, thank you so much for your time in this insightful presentation. I want to appreciate everyone for your time. I think that is the end of our hour. But again, thank you so much everyone for being here.
Thank you so much, Nozomi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
Thank you.
facilitating, Margot.
Pleasure.
So, Maureen, thank you.
Yeah, let's keep talking. Thank you.
Hope to see you in person.
Soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.